Welcome back to the next session of this chapter. That is, in this session we are learning moral integrity, the significance of moral integrity, skills required to handle moral problems, issues in engineering, ethics, responsibilities of engineers and types. So these all are very important topics that we are learning today. Okay, first let us start with what is moral integrity. So in this you will be getting the question, what is moral integrity? Write on its significance. So already we have studied what is integrity, moral integrity in the first chapter. So in this we are learning what are the significance of the moral integrity. So first let us define this. It is the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral uprightness. It is generally a personal choice to uphold oneself to consistent moral and ethical standards. Okay, so what actually this means is what? So what, as we all know that the integrity is what? Unity in thought and deed and in our action and also in our speech. So ನಮ್ಮ ಯೋಚನೆ, ಮಾತು ಮತ್ತು ಕೆಲಸ, ಸೊ ಇವು ಮೂರು ಒಂದೇ ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇವು ಮೂರು ಒಂದೇ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ನುಡಿದಂತ ನಡಿತಾನಲ್ಲ, ಯಾರು ಯೋಚಿಸದ ಹಾಗೆ ನುಡಿತಾರೆ, ನುಡಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ನಡೀತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಮನುಷ್ಯನಿಗೆ ಸೊ ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರೇಟೆಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಅಂತಂತ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ ಅಂತಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್. Significance of moral integrity. So it is a virtue that lays the foundation for all other virtues and is therefore fundamental to all others. So virtue andre enri sadguna. So this is the one of the best virtue, lays the foundation for all other virtues. So ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಗುಣಗಳು ನಾವು ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ ಏನಿರಬೇಕು? ಇಂಟಿಗ್ರಿಟಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ಸ್ ದ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಅದರ್ virtues. So many virtues we have learned in the previous chapter. Okay, it is regarded as the honesty and truthfulness or accuracy of one's action. So main value in this is, moral value in this virtue is what? Honesty. So ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾಮಾಣಿಕರಾಗಿರಬೇಕು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. It is adherence to moral and ethical principles, soundness of moral character, that is honesty, etc. So adherence ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟಿಕ್ ಆನ್ ಆಗುದ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ದೊಳಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಏನು ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, ಯಾವ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತವನ್ನು ನೀವು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಡುವಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಏನೇ ಕ್ರಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಬಂದ್ರು ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ಸ್ ಬಿಡ್ಲಾರ್ದೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಅಡ್ಹೆರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈಗ ಅಣ್ಣಾ ಹಜಾರೆ, ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿ, so they had certain principles. So whatever was the difficult situation they had faced, so they did not leave their principles. So that is why they are known as an integrated person. So very good persons. Okay, it makes the people to be the responsible citizenship. So ee ರೀತಿ integrity ittandre manushanige, so they are also called as the responsible citizens of the nation. Next, it makes the people to be the good heartedness themselves. So ಒಬ್ಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಆಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ so they must have this integrity quality, virtue. Okay, so I think the significance of moral integrity is very clear for you. Next, we study what are the skills required to handle moral problems, issues in engineering, ethics. So we are in the engineering profession. So we will be having certain moral issues, moral problems, and what actually the engineers must have the skills to handle the moral problems. So many moral issues, many moral problems every engineer will face in day-to-day life. Okay, but for that engineer must be prepared with certain skills. So what are those skills? It is listed here. So these all are moral values what we have studied in the previous chapter only, and also with that some extra statements are added here. So let us take one by one. First, moral courage. Next, virtue ethics, proper execution of code of ethics. Code of ethics andre rules and regulations made for engineering field, engineering profession. Moral integrity, now only we studied. Professional obligations, obligations andre responsibilities, commitment. Skill of cognitive reframing, cognitive andre intelligent agi think ಮಾಡುದ್ರಿ. Skill of self soothing, self soothing andre ಸ್ಮೂತ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಸ್ಮೂದಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಸೂದಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಫ್ರೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಫಿಯರ್ ಆರ್ ಆಂಗ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದು ಹೆದರಿಕೆ ಇರಲಾರ್ದ, ಯಾವುದು ಆಂಗ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇರಲಾರ್ದ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಸೂದಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಏನೇ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರು, ಏನೇ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಬಂದ್ರು ಅದನ್ನು ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಟಾಲರೆನ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ, ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸಮ್ comments from your colleagues, or there will be some debate, there will be some arguments. So in that case you should have a tolerance, patience, ತಾಳ್ಮೆ ಇರಬೇಕು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ. Next, skill of negotiation. So when you are talking or when you are purchasing something from the market, in that case through the company you should be able to negotiate the things. Okay, negotiate ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ರಿ, ಬಾರ್ಗೇನಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅವರ್ಷನ್. ಸೊ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಅವರ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಸ್ಲೈಕ್, ಅವರ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸೊ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅವಾಗ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಅ ರಿಸ್ಕ್. ಸೊ that also should be faced. That skill you should have. Ethical competence. So there will be a competition in the engineering field and also in the company where you will be working. So in that company also you will be facing daily the competitions from your co-worker or from other companies also. So that competitions must be faced. It is also one of the skill, because now we are in a global competitions. So there will be a global competitors. So with them we need to compete, and for that we should develop a skill for that. Next, ability to observe what is happening from morals perspective. So ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲು ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ. ಅಂಡ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಞಾನ, ಗ್ರಹಿಕೆ. ಸೊ ನಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅರಿವಿನಿಂದ ನಾವು ಏನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ದಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಮಾರಲಿ. ಸೊ ಮಾರಲಿ we should have the perspective, that is the ability to understand others, surrounding nature. So this also is one of the skill one should possess. Next, moral wisdom. In this, understand the moral perception, moral sensitivity and moral imagination. So moral perception andre ಗ್ರಹಿಕೆ, ಗ್ರಹಿಸುವುದು, ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, moral sensitivity ಅಂದ್ರೆ ability to respond to individual needs in a moral way. ಸೊ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ರೆಸ್ಪಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ moral sensitivity. And moral imagination, that is ability to reflect or what might be like to be an individual in this set of circumstances. So ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ಟಾನ್ಸ್ ದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಫ್ಯೂಚರ್ ದಾಗ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿ. Next, develop the skills to alert the people to their responsibilities to uphold professionals standards throughout their job performance interaction with peers and supervisor. ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಜನರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಾರ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋ ಹಾಗೆ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ದೇ ಶುಡ್ ನೋ ದೇರ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟೀಸ್, ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇನು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿ ಹೇಳೋದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್. ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ದ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕಲ್ತೀವಿ, ಅದರದ್ದೇ ಆದಂತ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್, ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ. ಒಂದು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ಗೆ ಅದರದೇ ಆದಂತ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವ, ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ, ಆ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೆವಲಪಿಂಗ್ ದ ವರ್ಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಎಥಿಕ್ಸ್. Next, skill of learning how to address and resolve ethical dilemma. So ethical dilemma anta nimge gottide. So it is a problem of making a decision when there are many solutions for that. So which solution we have to follow, ಯಾವ್ದು ನಾವು ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ದಾರಿ ಯಾವ ಪಾತ್ ನಾವು ಹುಡುಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ದಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ, so that is called as a ethical dilemma. So in this, how to resolve that and also how to address that dilemma, so that is also we should learn. Next, good leadership and leadership styles. So this is a must. So everyone should take the initiative for a moral issue. ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆದಾಗ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಟ್ಯಾಕಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ is also one of the characteristics of a leadership. Okay. Next, team building with moral support. So we know that the results of teamwork is always better than the individual work. So we should have that team building skill also, and also to work in a team, how to work in a team, we must know about it. Next, effective and informal communication support. So when you are working in a group, you need to communicate. So the effective communication skills you must develop. Next, developing the ethics hotlines to ensure confidential service. That is, employees may contact whenever they encounter workplace dilemmas that put them into uncomfortable or threatening positions. So this is very important in case when the person who is working in the company, he is having a problem or he is in a dilemma state, then he has to approach to he wants to approach to anyone in the company, and he wants to keep it as a confidential ಆಗಿ ಇಡುವಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭ ಬಂದಾಗ, so there must be a provision for that. So that is called as a developing the ethics hotlines. Hotlines andre, so it is a telephone line that is always staffed and able to give immediate assistance. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತಂತ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, so they can call and they can tell their problem. For the solution they can ask from that person. So this is called as a hotlines to ensure confidential service. So this is required in a company. So if there is any problem in that case, so that helpline can be used, and they will give the confidential service. Next, ignore the wrongs and recognizing the interest of the employees. So sometimes the employees with whom you are working, so they may also go wrong. In that case, you should not criticize that. You should coolly handle that situation. Try to tell what the mistake they are having, but you should not comment badly. You should not comment. And also you should recognize the interest of the employees. ಅವರು ಏನು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅದಾವು, ಅದರ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ನೀವು ರಿಕಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮತ್ತು ಅವರ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ at good, if they are very good at working, then you need to appreciate also. So this is also required. Lastly, humanize decisions. So when you are taking the decisions, you see that you are working with the human beings, and you should know the nature of the human beings, and you are not working with the machines. So keeping into mind, so human nature, so you have to take always the decisions morally, which should not hurt the human beings, and also which should not harm the society people. Okay. Okay, the next topic is responsibility. Responsibility ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅಂತಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. What this actually means? The primary sense of responsibility is the duty with care and efforts. So ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲಿ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಎಫರ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಅ person who is working. So this is a basic definition of a responsibility. We have a different types of responsibility. So in the examination it is asked, explain the responsibility and also the different types of responsibility with the help of the example. So let us study the types of responsibility with the help of the example. So there are 4 types of responsibilities. First one is moral responsibility, second one is causal responsibility, third is job responsibilities, and fourth one is legal responsibility. So let us take one by one in detail. First one, moral responsibility. So what actually this means? So here it is defined as a professional must be responsible morally in creating internal good outcomes and eliminating or minimizing unintended side effects from engineering and ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಮಾರಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ಲಾರ್ದಂಗ. ಸೊ ಮಾರಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನಲ್ ಗುಡ್ ಆರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಿನಿಮೈಸಿಂಗ್ ದ ಅನ್ಇಂಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇಫೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಗಲಾರ್ದಂಗೆ ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ morally responsibility here. It includes obligations, consciousness, accountability, and praiseworthy and or blameworthy. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ ಏನೇನು ಬರ್ತಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ obligations ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ, commitment. So you will be committed to a certain work, you will be responsible for that work, how you should do that work, that is here taken as a morally you must work as a responsible person. So this is one thing. Next, consciousness. So ನೀವು ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ನೀವು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ, ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್. ಸೊ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಆನ್ ದಟ್ ವರ್ಕ್, ಅಟೆಂಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಮಾರಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಲ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಅಕೌಂಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದ್ರದ್ದು ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕ್ರಿ. ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ದ ವರ್ಕ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಸೈನ್ ಟು ಯು, ಸೊ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಗೋಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್, in that case you are answerable for that. So for that you need certain accounts for that. Next, praiseworthy. So when you are assigned a work to you, that is project work, if you take, if the project work is given to you, suppose if the project fails, in that case you may be blamed for that. So that is taken as a blameworthy. So you should accept it because it is failed because of certain reasons, but you are responsible for that. Praiseworthy means, suppose if your project is getting the good results, if you are getting the good results from the project, in that case everyone will praise you. So that is also because of your responsibility you have got the good result. So these are very important qualities which we have to know in the moral responsibility. So one example is there, you can understand it easily. Question papers were leaked out by some persons during the transportation. So transportation time daga question paper leak ಆಗ್ತಾವ. Question paper ಯಾರೋ ತಗೊಂಡು leak ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So in that case who is responsible? So this responsibility is coming under which type? See here, the examination controller is morally responsible. So ಯಾರು responsible? Controller ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, examination ಗೆ ಒಬ್ರು controller ಅಂತ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. So that person is made responsible because so that person should carefully take the question paper during transportation. So that person is responsible morally because of the leakage of the question paper, because the students need to write it once again, otherwise they have to postpone the exam. So this will actually harms the students life. That's why so this type of responsibility is called as a moral responsibility. Next, causal responsibility. Causal responsibility here, it is defined as it is being a cause of some event. So ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅದರ ರೀಸನ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಹೊಣೆಗಾರರು, ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕಾಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್. A child playing with the matches cause a house to burn. So child ಒಂದು ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಆಟ ಆಡಬೇಕಾದಾಗ ಬೈ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಕಡ್ಡಿ ಕೊರಗೋದಾಗ ಅದು ಮನೆ ತುಂಬ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೆಂಕಿ ಹತ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ, ಸೊ ಹೂ ಇಸ್ ದ ಕಾಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್? So in this incident the child is causally responsible. Child is responsible for this cause. Okay, but what happens? The parent who left the child with matches is morally responsible. So actually ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೇಗೆ ಆಟ ಆಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವ್ರ ಕೈಯೊಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು, ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ ಹಿಯರ್ causal responsible is child, but morally who is responsible? Parents. Okay, I think the examples will tell you the difference between moral responsibility and causal responsibility. Okay, next is the third one, job responsibility. In this, it consists of assigned task at the place of employment and achieving the objectives. So job responsibilities ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡುವಾಗ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ, ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್, ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ರೀಚ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ ಏನಿದಂತ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ allotting that. So it will be assigned and allotted for that job worker. So in this case what happens here? It is the responsibility of employee who has been assigned the work. So when anything goes wrong in that work, then who is responsible? That person to whom the job is assigned, to whom the work is assigned, that person is responsible. So this is called as a job responsibility. So the example is given here. When the teacher assigned a subject to a 4 semester class. So ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಟೀಚರ್ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಅಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Suppose if I am given this task, that is professional ethics, I need to complete it. 100% syllabus I have to complete for you. Suppose if I did not complete the syllabus 100%, then who is responsible for that? I only the responsible. The teacher who is handling that subject are responsible for that action. Okay. So this is called as a job responsibility. So the teacher responsibility is what? That work assigned to that teacher should be completed well before the time. Okay. If it is not done, then the teacher is responsible for any questions asked from the principals or higher authority. Okay. Next, legal responsibility. Legal responsibility, when it comes, you just see here, it is the response required by law and includes legal obligations and accountability to meet them. So ಯಾವಾಗ legal ಆಗಿ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಆಗ್ತೈತೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ಫೈಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರಿ ಆಗ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ಲೀಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವಾಗಾದ್ರೂ ನಾವು ಏನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆದಾಗ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, so when this responsibility will occur, the example is given here. The products sold by a company have caused harm while being used. So ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು company product, it is harming the public. Suppose if it is a food industry. Food industry is selling certain food items, and from that food item it is creating a health problem for the public. So who is responsible for that? So that responsibility here, it is taken as a legal responsibilities here. The company is held legally responsible. So each time the company is made legally responsible. So depending upon the situations, depending upon the work, depending upon the different criteria, the responsibility is classified here. And you can see that in almost all the classification, many of these responsibilities overlap with the moral responsibility. So ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು responsibility ಒಳಗ moral responsibility we will consider. So it is not taken as a separate one. Usually we consider the moral responsibility because being a human beings, we should always think morally. So moral responsibility should be there for everyone. So we will consider for each classification. Okay, next we have to distinguish between causal responsibility, moral responsibility and legal responsibilities through the appropriate examples. So now we studied the definition of each. With the help of example, let us distinguish them. So there are some examples given here. You can see what is the type of responsibility here. First one, there was a forest fire. It was traced to campfire at specific site and Rohan was the least bothered about campsite to seize the fire. So Rohan was the actual person who was having the charge of that, but he was not able to seize the fire. So what type of responsibility is this? So here you can see that Rohan is causally responsible. So causal responsibility ಬರ್ತದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. So for this cause, that is the fire in the campsite, for this cause Rohan is causally responsible. Okay, because he failed to put off the campfire. Next, another example you can see, a pandal erected by the contractor in a marriage hall catches fire due to a leakage of electric current. So due to electrical leakage, it catches fire. So who is responsible? What type of responsibility it is? No legal responsibility for pandal contractor, but the owner of the hall is morally responsible for the electric leakage. So a hall obru owner irtarala, so that person is morally responsible for the electrical leakage. Okay. Next, question papers were leaked out by some persons during the transportation. So just now we took this example. So here which type of responsibility it is? The examiner controller is morally responsible. So this comes under morally responsibility. Okay, moral responsibility. Next, other examples you can see here. The products sold by a company have caused harm while being used. So this also we took here. So what type of responsibility it is? The company is held legally responsible. So legal agi adu case fight ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತೈತಿ. Okay. Next, fifth one. A fitter lost one of his eyes while inserting a chip by using a hammer. So on mechanical industry ಒಳಗೆ, so fitter has lost his eyes when he is inserting a chip. So who is responsible? What type of responsibility is? The hammer manufacturer is held legally responsible. ಅದನ್ನ hammer ಯಾರು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಆಗಿ responsibility ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. So they have to fight for that. Okay. Next, Raju was driving a car. He failed to stop at the red signal, which caused an accident. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು accident ಆಗೈತಿ. Raju is driving and because of his failure, his mistake, the accident has occurred. So what type of responsibility it is? It is a causally responsible because this cause is due to Raju. So that is why it is taken as a causally responsible. So these examples will better explain you, and also these will help you to distinguish the different types of responsibilities. Okay, today we studied a very important topics on moral integrity, significance of moral integrity, and also responsibility, types of responsibilities with the help of the example. So I think it is very clear for you students. Okay, thank you.